Right now, we're gonna do an interview with Prideslayer, and it's gonna start right now, boys. Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, Mr. Sardaco, one moment. Let me fix my output real quick. Just came through my monitor. Hope you're having a good day, man.
Yes, sir. It's a great day, man. Great day for some RuneScape.
Every day is a great day for some RuneScape, but I agree, absolutely. Alrighty. Thanks again for talking to me, dude. This is very cool. Love the streams, love the energy. Seeing people come over from World of Warcraft is really cool because, for pretty much my whole life, it's been like very us versus them. And I think for the first time, we're all together in the boat,
Oh, absolutely.
So what actually convinced you to come over and try old school RuneScape, man?
Dude, honestly, WoW was burning. WoW was on fire. It was on its last leg. The house was crumbling. And we kind of played all the content that it had to offer. And I gave this analogy the other day, but basically, RuneScape takes a lot longer. There's 100 times more content in one RuneScape character than there is in one WoW character's progression.
Really?
So you could get to max level and start playing the game in 6 days, and to max a RuneScape account would take you nearly a year.
Oh yeah,
maybe more for some people. So that's kind of like we have already started inventing creative ways to play the game, and I feel like WoW is progressing through all these phases where if a game has been out for a long time and there's no new content being added to it, then the players start to create these different game modes and challenges to keep it interesting. And the way you do that is you take things out of the game. You make it harder, right? So you're like, okay, you can't die anymore. So now it's like, okay, we're gonna play hardcore. Okay, now it's like, okay, we're gonna play solo self-found hardcore. Now you can't use the auction house. And that's phase 2, right? You can only use items that you found. And then phase 3, now it's ultimate or ultra hardcore, where they're stripping away the UI, and you can't have a mini map, and you can't see your health or the mob's health, so you don't know if they're about to die or not. And they're stripping away things from the game to keep it interesting. So WoW is in phase 3 of what I call post-game copium, where it's you're trying to invent ways to keep it interesting because you love the game and you want to keep playing it, but there isn't much left, so you're inventing new stuff. And RuneScape is also going through that, so you could see that with Settled series, where he's locking himself to a zone, or he's creating different ways to play the game, and you do that by stripping down the game. You remove parts of the game, and you only play small portions of the game to keep it interesting. And so the first phase of that was Ironman, and then it's hardcore Ironman, and now it's ultimate Ironman. And you're removing things from the game. You remove the bank, you remove death, you remove the ability to use the general exchange. So these are different phases that RuneScape is going through, and RuneScape is kind of at the same place, but RuneScape has been out for 10 years longer than classic WoW, and a lifespan of a WoW character is so much shorter. So they're going to accelerate through the phases quicker and run out of content and hit a wall, I think, sooner.
So I've never played WoW, but is it essentially the way RuneScape 3 has just added and added and added, and it's just kind of lost its identity? Would you say retail WoW is like that?
Yeah, well, retail WoW is a totally different game in general, so I wouldn't even. A lot of this is apples to oranges. WoW Classic comparing WoW Classic to WoW Retail is totally different games. Retail WoW it's a kind of like a combat simulator. You either do a dungeon or you do a raid, and the PvP scene is pretty dead now, so I can't really speak to that.
Does skilling exist in WoW? You're talking to a guy who's literally never logged in. The only WoW I've seen is from you and some other people mentioning it,
Retail WoW, they did revamp the skill system. It's a little bit better, but you ultimately beat the skill system, and you max out your skills in a little bit of playtime each week.
It sounds like the combat style causes a lot of issues because you can't do solo content, at least from my understanding.
Yeah, imagine this is retail WoW, right? So time gating equals content. It's waiting equals content. So I want you to imagine that you start a new account. Everyone starts from 0, essentially. Everyone starts from 0, or imagine 99 is the max level. Every 6 months, they add 10 levels. So all of your skills, you could do 10 more levels, right? But then, they release, they tell you there's gonna be 3 new bosses that come out, and they're gonna get 10 more levels. So you have to level up, and in order to even fight those bosses, to do damage to them, you have to be maxed. So you have to level to 136. Sorry, that's the max level, right? 126. So now you got to level to 136, and then they're only going to release one boss for the first 3 months, and then they'll release like another boss 3 or 4 months later. Like that's how WoW works. It's time gated content.
Is there a reason that they like time gate things like that? Like we don't have any locks on old school, obviously, but on RuneScape 3, like our raid bosses are actually locked. Like, do they have a reason for doing that? Is there any logic behind it?
Yeah, WoW is you beat the game, you beat WoW too fast. That's the problem. So they time gate the content to keep people subscribed.
Oh.
It's a money play.
So one thing too that I've kind of heard you talk about that I can't even fathom is like getting together like 30 person, 50 person raids, I think you've said. I can't fathom like getting that much like cooperation together, man. Like, you know, there's not really that type of PVM on old school per se. Like, yeah, there are some team bosses, of course, but most stuff, you know, trio, 5-man. But like, you know, on RuneScape 3, there's 10-man raids. And even then, that's like chaotic. Like, yeah, I can't imagine getting 30 people together, bro.
Yeah, it 20 to, and honestly, 30-man raids lag pretty bad, so I try to avoid those. WoW's sweet spot is kind of 20-man, and you need such a diversity of classes and stuff in order to, you know, beat the raids, especially early on. It's a lot more pivotal, certain cooldowns and CDs and stuff in order to beat certain bosses. But yeah, it does get pretty chaotic. I love the fact that RuneScape has solo raids, and I personally love the design of RuneScape, and it's so much fun when you actually get into the challenging content where your clicks matter. And I have such a problem like spamming my clicks from playing World of Warcraft that it's ingrained in me today, and it gets me killed all the time.
Bro, I mean, it's like, yeah, especially at places like Ulm where you have to like keep attacking and, you know, be able to move. Like, yeah, clicking gets really difficult there. Would you ever make a hardcore Ironman?
So I started hardcore Ironman and I died to the tree spirit on my 3rd day. I didn't know about safe spotting, and I was doing kind of like I actually got baited. I need to call out Quest Helper right now. Quest Helper baited me, bro. Like, there is a one quest in the game, and Quest Helper highlighted the tile on the ground, and it was like, you can stand right here and avoid and be safe. And then the next quest, I go do Tree Spirit, and it's not highlighting the tile, and I'm like, where do I stand? So I need to call out Quest Helper for that, because I thought it was going to hold my hand, and the Quest Helper just let me go.
That's crazy. That's the real RuneScape experience right there, though. Maybe Quest Helper was like, all right, we're going to give him a taste. Like, yeah, hardcore is just not for me, man. But I love watching it. It's fun to watch. Stakes are high. Did you play hardcore in WoW?
Yeah, hardcore WoW, and that's another thing too, bro. I love hardcore WoW, but I can't imagine playing hardcore WoW for my very first time playing the game. And I know that there's a lot of people that do that, but I don't know if I would enjoy playing hardcore WoW for my very first time playing through it. I think I would just be frustrated, like not knowing what's about to happen. And
true, yeah.
I felt that a lot when I was, you know, playing hardcore for only 3 days. But the moment I died, I felt so relieved. I felt just so much pressure and stress gone off my back that I could just run into a situation blind and try to figure it out without worrying about the consequence. And I have enjoyed this game infinitely more after dying on my hardcore.
Your game has become fun instead of survival, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, WoW looks cool and everything, but one of my only exposures is the pirate software, you know, wipe thing. So I'm like, oh goodness, I can't imagine getting like a beast account and then, you know, my account gets wiped during a raid. But yeah, what has been your favorite quest so far?
So my favorite quest in the game, hands down, is Sins of the Father. I think that the writing and the storyline on this quest line, the character Vanascula is so well written because you kind of know that like you're replacing like, okay, so if you don't know who this is, by the way, Vanascula is the sister of Lord Draken, and Lord Draken is like evil or whatever, or he's not doing his job. He's like gone into hiding and the kingdom is falling apart. And he's a vampire, so he's like chilling, he's gaining strength. Like when vampires sleep, they gain strength over time. It's very common for their storyline, I guess. And so
you're a lore man too. Hell yeah, I like that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, that's cool to hear.
Yeah. So basically, Vanascula is his sister, and she wants to take over because he's not doing his job. But she's like manipulating you guys to help her out, and it's like you don't really have a choice because everything is kind of going to shit, and you need somebody to step in and be the leader and tell people what to do because. Basically, the vampires are running out of food and they're starting to like kill humans and stuff across the line of Mortania, and it's a bad situation. But she's very manipulative, and you don't know if she's going to be a better leader than the current one. And so you're kind of just trying to replace someone bad with someone less bad. And so you're helping out who you think is to be less bad, but you're getting manipulated the whole time into thinking that she's less bad. But so we don't actually know if we did a good thing or not.
She's very Orochimaru, like, you know, she's helping you, but clearly for her own ends. Yeah. Did you like Desert Treasure 2?
Desert Treasure 2 was a banger. I mainly enjoyed, fighting the different bosses, progressing through that, and they were very challenging. Desert Treasure had a really cool storyline as well with the ancient Zamorakians. What are they called again? Zoroastrians. Yeah, the Zoroastrians. Yeah. The ancient Zoroastrian, and learning about the lore of their city and what happened to them a long time ago was really awesome. But I really love challenging boss fights in this game, and that one was definitely the hardest.
Yeah, you got the best of both worlds. You got cool lore, and then it's like you beat the 4 generals and think you're done, and then you have to go fight Sliske at the actual pyramid. I think I died more to that than the other bosses.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
well,
it's like, rough. It's rough. That fight was rough. I died to that one like 5 or 6 times.
I was really surprised when that quest came out, like how hard they made the bosses, because for like quite some time it felt like they were, because, you know, the lore community and the PVM community are usually like mutually exclusive. So it was really interesting to see them add bosses that were that difficult. I mean, on my iron, I just had like, you know, a base trident and junk gear, and it took me so long to beat the Whisperer. But, you know, it also made the stakes of the quest feel better.
True. Yeah, the Whisperer was tough. How many times did it take you to beat that?
Oh, and this isn't like, you know, an exaggeration. Probably 8 hours. Like, it was really, really bad. I was playing RuneScape 3 at the time, so I like came back over for that update, and I just could not get it down. It was the insanity that kept getting me, you know?
Yeah.
Being able to eat through food is good and all, but then once you have like a hard insta kill, yeah, it was really difficult. But, you know, it was worth it. I'm glad they made the boss that hard. You know, I wasn't like pissed and thought Desert Treasure sucked or anything over that, but yeah, no, it was really cool. Plus, like, to be honest, I make a lot of lore content, and the Whisperer's lore is very cool because it's like all Shadow Realm and Blackstone, and that's like, so you know how Sailing is coming out?
Yep.
There in RuneScape 3, all of that Whisperer lore is associated with ports and the Eastern lands and sailing, and some of the stuff they've shown has hinted that they're going to go in that direction. And if they do, it'll be cool. I like more sinister content than maybe just silly stuff. Silly stuff's fine. Everybody likes the Gnome Child, but yeah, not all the time.
True.
I was going to ask, what do you dislike about old school raids? I know you like them in general, but is there anything you dislike about them?
So right now I'm actually going through it a little bit. I just hit my first wall in the game where I finally found something I don't like about RuneScape. And it took me 60 days to kind of hit this wall. I've liked everything so far, except for when I ran out of resources. Okay. The resource management and upkeep is the first thing that I have found that I don't enjoy that much. And it's the same thing I didn't enjoy in WoW. WoW has this same thing too, which is why the auction house exists. And I'm starting to realize that now, where the upkeep that it takes to raid in WoW, you have to get world buffs, you have to get full consumes, you have to get like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pots, and you need like 20 of those pots in order to do the raid so that you can do the most amount of damage and things like that. So upkeep of supplies is a totally like separate part of the game that I'm kind of finding is my least favorite part about raiding and bossing in general.
I mean, that's definitely like, that's based because yeah, you're wanting to go out and do the difficult content, not like the monotonous stuff. On Iron Man 2, man, getting them snapdragons for the super restores and the ranars, and then, you know, getting your bird's nests for your brews. Yeah, can definitely be a pain.
Yeah. And I'm also learning the game too. So it's going to take me a lot more supplies to get the bosses on farm status than it is somebody who already knows the game, right? So it's...
Yes, you're using twice as many supplies than someone who's
to get
played
half
through
as
on a
many
main.
KC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think in hindsight that you would have made a main?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You think that the Iron Man is what burnt out some of your colleagues from WoW?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that dude, I quit my Iron Man for a couple years to go play RuneScape 3. I know I'm going to get flamed for that, but I did. I just needed a break because, like, you know, I just learned CG and, you know, just got through the Dragon Warhammer grind and some other stuff. And as much as I love my Iron Man, I was tired of it for a while. So, no, dude, I get that. I hope they come back, man. I actually think it's really cool. You know, there's been like a lot of exchange in creators. You've, you know, got people like Jimbo who went over to WoW for a while and played, and you know, now you guys coming over here. It doesn't feel like we're as it doesn't feel like teams anymore. Kind of feels like team MMO, you know, because you got New World shutting down and Lord of the Rings, and it's like,
that's crazy, by the way, the New World thing.
You got thoughts on that? Have you played New World?
Yeah, I played it the first when it first released and freaking loved it up until like level 30, and then it was repetitive with no end game.
Oh, okay. This is kind of like the PoE2 issue when it first came out. That makes sense. I'm kind of surprised it didn't get fixed though. I feel like I've seen it everywhere. I mean, you know, I don't know if it's their monetization or their player count, but I'm really surprised it shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my buddy Showbeck says he really loved it, and he was really sad that they were closing it down. It sounded like they were on the right track, you know, maybe fixing the game, listening to the players, kind of on that. Any MMO that's on that 2012 old school RuneScape arc, I feel like is in the right mindset.
True, yeah. I've as a RuneScape 3 guy, like, and really the only reason I went back to RuneScape 3 is because I played like back in the day consistently, you know. So it's like I got my OG 20-year-old account. But it's like I was waiting for the day that they made the announcement that they were going to be shutting down, like maybe just do a skeleton crew and keep it running. But yeah, I'm really surprised at, you know, the announcement recently about the treasure hunter thing. It's kind of wild, man.
Because you've really I think that's awesome that they're even thinking about doing that. And I saw like Josh Drive Hayes. He was like, man, this company is really the first one to go in the right direction of going against microtransactions. And I think that a lot of people are kind of fed up at microtransactions in general. And I'm glad to see that there's one company that's moving away from that.
It was even more surprising because I've been pretty vocal about this. Like, I love the actual game, right? But a lot of the I don't really know what you would call it, the extra stuff involved with it are what makes it negative. And it's like, you know, logging in and seeing a scratch off ticket in this grand fantasy game that, you know, you've been working all day and been waiting to get off and play your favorite game. And just seeing that every day kind of burns you out. But like, there's a community of people on RuneScape 3 who viciously want to keep microtransactions. And, you know, they're the people who stayed through Evolution of Combat, and all these other changes that happened. And, you know, I think that their opinion is valuable. I'm not trying to, like, you know, discredit anyone, but really, man, the game is not going to grow like that. It's 2025 and MMOs are dropping like flies. So it's good to see them trying to preserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there people, does WoW have a community of people who really hate when the game's criticized, or is it more like, you know, people just say whatever?
Classic. Classic WoW players are mean to retail players. Retail players do not care about classic. They mind their own business, and in general, I'm speaking about like very generalizing both players. Classic players are basically the ironmen of osrs.
Okay.
You know, the ironmen of osrs let you know that they're iron, and they let you know that they don't like anything else but that.
To be honest, that's pretty close to how the relationship is. Like, you know, every time I post a RuneScape 3 video or something, I always have like an old school player like, shut this game down, I hate this garbage. And it's like, it's fair, you know. But
yeah.
Nah, I like both games, dude. They're both fun in their own way. I was gonna ask, do you remember like the first time you ever heard RuneScape in real life?
Dude, I played classic, like the classic RuneScape when I was 12. Yeah,
the
man.
MS Paint?
The MS Paint one, yeah. I used to stake people for duels in Lumbee. I used to stake my rune plate legs and wear like monk robes to duel people, and then swap into full rune and dragon long and try and scam people.
Bait and switch.
Yeah, the bait and switch.
That's anti-PKing at that point. That's awesome. Yeah. Gosh, it had to be like really not jarring, but it had to be interesting to come back after so much time and see how it's changed.
It's changed so much, and I regret not playing RuneScape sooner.
That's actually pretty cool.
Because I had this whole mindset, you know, of like, it's just this like, I just thought it was the same game as when I was 12, and it's evolved into something way cooler.
So like, why did you start making content? You went from classic, I guess, to WoW, right? RuneScape classic to WoW. Like, at what point did you get into content, and why?
Dude, honestly, midlife crisis. Like, just trying to figure out like what I really enjoy from life. What do I want to wake up every day and doing, and like how can I enjoy this one life that we have to live the most? And you know, I already had my job as a videographer, photographer for a long time. I did that. And so I really enjoyed gaming. I had tried streaming five years before I started streaming full time. I tried streaming as a Fortnite streamer, and I kind of burnt out on Fortnite after streaming it for like 3 months and didn't really enjoy it. I was like, video games was kind of my escape, where I just wanted to play video games and have fun, and I didn't want it to be a job. And when I started playing video games as a job, I stopped enjoying it. And then fast forward 5 years later, and I'm realizing like, shit, there's always going to be things that you don't enjoy in life. I kind of like matured, and I was like, I would rather not enjoy video games than like not enjoy something else in life that's way harder than that, right? So
yeah,
ultimately I decided I would rather be a streamer who there's some days where like, yeah, maybe you're not enjoying something or whatnot, but I'd rather do that than the alternative. And so I decided to give streaming and content creation one more try, and I was going to do it for 1 year. I was like, I'm going to go for 1 year. I don't care if I have one viewer for the first full year. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to commit. I'm going to make YouTube videos. I'm going to make content, and I'm going to try it full out. And I started playing hardcore WoW full time as a streamer just a little bit over 2 years ago, like 2 years and 1 month ago.
Dude, your gains are incredible. Like, I mean, you're good at it. You know, I think though something you mentioned is a key to it. You know, you have fun. You try to make it fun. It's not, you know, even though it is a job, it doesn't sound like just a job to you. You know, when you're playing, you're actually like enjoying being able to just talk to people all day, get gains, and have fun. Also, it doesn't surprise me now that you said it, that you had a career as a videographer. I think that helps a ton when making content, like just actually knowing your way around like editing software and whatnot. Cause
it's a little bit of a cheat code. It's a little bit of a cheat code for a content creator to have that in the back pocket. You know, I have a lot of experience with storytelling and making I have a movie on Amazon. So like I've made a full movie. So like for a while, making films and storytelling was my whole passion.
Is it NSFW or is it?
What does that stand for? Sorry.
Not safe for work. But yeah, is it a naughty video?
No, my movie is called Swipe Club. It's on Amazon.
Cool.
And yeah, I made it as an independent film. And you know, originally I made a lot of films in the past, and originally I wanted to be a filmmaker, but that door didn't really open for me as to be like the next Quentin Tarantino or Steven Spielberg. So you kind of got to go where doors open for you in life, and that one just didn't open for me. But gaming was something I always loved. Making videos, making content was something I always loved, and acting, entertainment is something I always loved. And I think that streaming merges my three passions in life, and ultimately, this is what I felt like I was, not only what I wanted to do, but what I was meant to do, and everything that I've done in life has trained me to do this up until now.
So do you believe, and this is kind of a random, but it will make sense. Do you believe in fate? Like, do you think that things happen for a reason?
Yeah. I don't believe in like, I don't believe like, our lives are like set already and like we're just living out the timeline or anything like that. But I believe that, things can happen for a reason, and you should take things as sometimes you just take things as signs in your life, as a hint of where you should go. Like I say, it's just going through open doors in life, and some doors open, and a lot of life is hard work, and a lot of it is also luck. And when a door opens for you, that can be seen as luck, and you got to take that and try to take that and make it an advantage.
Absolutely. Like, you were talking about being a videographer, and it's like, that's, I'm sure took up a large portion of your life, and it's something you learned, and like moving on from different things can kind of feel like, I don't know if you've ever felt like you've had a wasted time, but being able to take that and then plug it directly into your, career as a streamer and YouTube, like that's really cool,
Absolutely.
Because it's like, maybe you weren't a videographer in your original sense, but in another way, you're exactly where you need to be and now where you want to be. So that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the hardest part, at least for me, of trying to do this is definitely like the technical aspect. Did you go to college, or like how did you get into videography?
Yeah, went to Baylor University, majored in film.
Wow. Okay, that kind of shows now, man.
My whole life I wanted to make movies, and I gave it my best shot. I even made I couldn't get a job of anybody in Hollywood to pay me to run cameras. It was really tough because it's all about who you know, not what you could do. And sure. I have a lot of social anxiety to go up and talk and network to people. So I just was not able to network my way in. And I didn't know anyone that was in that industry. So
you kind of got to be ruthless, right? Like to make it in that industry, like 24/7.
No, it's more networking than actually working. And that's the part of the job I hated. And so I realized I don't want to do this anymore. And so ultimately it ended up leading me to just starting my own video company where I would just do small jobs for different clients. And that carried me for 10 years.
The future is wide and open, and believe it or not, I know we might feel like old men, but we're still plenty young enough to make it in life in that aspect. So you never know, man. I mean, maybe this will take you somewhere with that.
Yeah. I mean, guys, if you want to, you could do anything you put your mind to. You could be a 34-year-old midlife crisis, bald man that wants to become a streamer in a very saturated market that is highly competitive, and you can do it.
So do you ever think about like making like RuneScape movies? And I know that might seem like a corny question, but there are creators now, I mean, like Jimmy, I know you talked to him the other day. He a lot of his content is based around that. Have you thought about doing anything like that, even if just for like a little side project?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about like animations, because I've never been into anime or animated movies or anything like that, but I do love the series that I'm doing right now, which is just a first time playthrough of a game, and really giving my experience and talking about the emotions and the feelings of how the game makes me feel when I get certain things or accomplish certain goals, and talk about the things that are difficult, the things that are tough to overcome. And I enjoy the series with what I'm doing now. And that's kind of what I see myself doing, long term. And I used to love teaching people the game, but I can't teach anyone RuneScape yet. So ultimately, I would see myself making guides. I think that one weak spot in RuneScape is every guide you go to, it's like some guy wearing an Inferno cape. And it's just like, and he's got like maxed out stats. And I'm like, is there anyone that's like around my stats with my gear that can teach me how to play this game? because it's all people that are over geared. And I think that there's a huge niche, a huge need for that right now in the RuneScape community of like how to do it as a noob with minimal gear and what can be done. And I think that I could see myself doing that eventually.
Yeah, no, I went and took a look at your like main channel WoW content before we did the interview, and I was surprised how much of it was guides. So I'm like, okay, you know, and no, it feels good to teach people stuff, you know, and it's not in like a, ooh, look at me, look what I know. It's like, oh, I helped that person get their first kill. That feels good.
Absolutely.
I mean, because that's the high points in a game, being able to overcome like the you know, the sticking points. I wanted to ask though, now that you mentioned it, who are your favorite directors?
Oh
like,
man,
Tarantino, and I'm like, my man.
Yeah, Tarantino's awesome. I like Ridley Scott. My favorite movie is Gladiator.
Okay.
And you know, I love Steven Spielberg films as well. I think he's one of the best storytellers. Scorsese, of course, is awesome. Those are just the big names.
Do you like indie stuff?
I'm not,
or independent,
dude. I'm such a video game nerd. I don't even watch really much TV anymore. Like ever since I started playing RuneScape, dude, all I do is play RuneScape. After I play RuneScape 8 hours a day, I go make some food. I take like a 10-minute break. I come back and I do skilling for 5 hours. That's my life.
It for the love of the game. That's awesome. Do you have favorite RuneScape creators, like people you like to watch?
RuneScape creators?
Yeah, like RuneScape series or creators. Yeah.
When my homies are online, I usually watch them, but I really enjoy watching like Foe, No Monkey. Bodhi just kind of swapped over to Twitch, so I kind of started watching him a little bit. But the people that I really like to watch are just my friends. I like watching my friends play the game.
That's cool. For sure. Yeah, because it's like hanging out with them. I think that's what's kind of cool about streaming, is you just are kind of hanging out with your bros. It happens to be a positive, you know, that it can provide income at a certain level. But no, streaming is cool.
I love watching all the YouTubers. There's so many good YouTubers in RuneScape. Like RuneScape YouTubers completely dominate WoW YouTubers.
Randy the Goat.
Yeah, dude, like Randy, Settled, this guy named Skritic. Skritic is so underrated. That guy's probably the actual GOAT at RuneScape videos. He's my favorite.
I don't think I've seen him. I'll write him down.
He's so underrated. It's crazy. Of course, the legend himself, Soup, for Gillinor games. I mean,
oh yeah,
the guy's insane.
Actually, my favorite stuff by Soup is his like fact videos. I mean, Gillinor games is awesome, but yeah, I'll be putting them fact videos on and just vibing. Like that's kind of what's great about RuneScape too. I don't really know how deep WoW lore is, but there are just so many rabbit holes you can go down in old school.
Yes, sir. They're infinite. I know about it.
So do you have any bosses that you outright hate?
Oh yeah, God Wars. Nah, man. Miss me with the God Wars dungeons. There ain't no way I'm going to kill 40 more of those goblins so I can get one attempt at this thing. And then on top of that, I got a 6-0 perfect ticket and I'm ass at it. Bruh, that tilted me so hard. And then on top of that, my Gommel's hilt ran out of charges and I couldn't TP back. So then I got to walk. Nah, bro.
Yeah, it is AIDS.
Nah, bro. Fix that, Jagek. Fix it.
It's so outdated. Honestly, they could take away kill count and it would be fine. Or make it like 10 or something. But no, I can feel that. Plus, like, they're hard for no reason. There's not really like mechanics. They just hit hard.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I wrote that whole place off. I'm like, I'm coming back at 99 stats with full bis. Like, there's no way.
Well, too, now you've got Perilous Moons, so, you know, I quit playing my Iron a few years ago, so it had, like, you know, some Armadillo pieces, Armadillo crossbow, stuff like that, and then I come back, and basically you can just do moons and skip it, which, you know, I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. I love moons, so I'm not saying it's bad, but yeah, I miss when God Wars was kind of like the place to go.
Yeah.
I guess Nex is there now. You probably haven't had a chance to try Nex, have you?
Next, I have not done that yet.
It's very cool. Very cool, boss. Related to all the Desert Treasure 2 stuff, she's like a Zerosian general. It's just so powerful that they had to lock her beneath the God Wars.
I have not discovered the lore on the God Wars dungeon. That sounds amazing.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I definitely think the modern stuff is even better. What do you think of like the skilling bosses in old school? Like
Um,
Temperos, Wintertot, Zalcano.
I haven't done those. Temperos I have
Really?
done. Sorry, those Volcano one I haven't.
Okay.
So Temperos is I think it's a W. I think it's a unique way of like keeping skilling interesting, and I think that Jagex is doing a good job with these mini games to try and keep skilling interesting. I still don't enjoy it, but it's a good thing that they've done instead of just like AFK fishing lobsters the entire time like I did when I was 12 years old. I fished lobsters until I could fish sharks, and then I cooked them in the cooking guild. I think it's a lot better now than it was then.
That's fair. I know a lot of people, man, when they start in Iron, the first thing they do is just camp skilling bosses. And I'm like, man, that is not, I could never do that. Like, I mean, they're okay in small doses, but yeah, which I'm not a skiller either, bro. That's why when you were saying about prepping for Iron Man, like that's definitely the worst part. Like, I'm just trying to kill shit.
True. I mean, I'm that way too, but I can also see people's points of that if you're just doing bossing that you could burn out. Like, I know Foe always says something along those lines that mains are not fun, but I'm wondering if that's just because he's played the game for so long. I might have to have a conversation with him about that too.
Potentially, like, yeah, he's definitely an expert on the game, so he might have just a different vantage point than either of us have, you know? Like, that man's not, like, dude, watching him do Gridmaster was crazy, though. Like, because it took me forever to do some of those tiles, and, like, man just knew being able to beat that in 8 hours is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that you kind of said that you didn't want to play Grid. Like, do you have an opinion on temporary game modes? Is that, like, because of how WoW is structured or something? Like, what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, it just reminded me in WoW. So first off, it was an XP loss. I'm on my first time playthrough. I'm enjoying this. Why would I stop playing something I enjoy? Like I'm enjoying, to go and do something else that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy. So for me, I kind of like to just do what works. And I viewed it as an XP loss, and I didn't really see a reason to stop doing something I was enjoying. And I don't know. I just feel like I would want to try Gridmaster in maybe a year from now, but not right now.
Yeah, you never want to mess up your momentum. So I actually can feel that, because you've been making a lot of gains on the Iron Man. Plus, too, it's like, I don't know how you feel about like your competition with your bros, but like when me and my friend are neck and neck on an Iron Man or another goal, if I see him doing a temporary game mode, I'm like, I'm going to get gains while you go play that. But no, that's cool, man. No, I feel that. It was a good time. I did hop on here and there. The one thing I can say was like a benefit was like, I know you're going through your Inferno arc right now, and it's like being able to just go in the Inferno and have like 25% reflect and just kind of take it slow. But then again, I also feel like it might rob me of, because I don't have my Inferno done on my Iron Man. I'm, not mid-high game. I should hit 2K total. But it's like, it was kind of nice to go in there that way, but also being able to get the Inferno done is going to be so huge. How are you feeling so far with that?
Dude, I freaking love the Inferno. I love that I'm bad and it's forcing me to do the things that are higher end skill, like, what is it? Higher end skill caps in RuneScape. Like, one tick alternating, one tick prayer flicking to conserve prayer. Using like having to kill the nibblers so they don't kill your pillars, but then you subject yourself to getting hit by different mobs that cast different schools of attacks at you at the same time, and it's like a consistent like balance, and you have to look at the wave and you have one tick to solve the wave as instantly as you see it. It's a knowledge game, and I love it, and I want to spam it, and I want to get better at it, and it like motivates me. It's like lit a fire underneath me, and I can't stand to not be good at it. Like, I want to get better. It's so fun.
That competitive nature is going to take you far with that, like, no, that's awesome, man. People that feel like they have to do it because it's best in slot, I feel like they get burnt out. But people that want to do it just because they like want the knowledge and to be able to conquer it, like, yeah, that's a good mentality to have. I think you got this, man. Especially with that Bofa, son. Oh, it's done. No, it's done. It is a very interesting piece of content though, because to my knowledge, it's one of the first real like yeah, it's like one of the first advanced pieces we got in old school where like you literally have to know how NPCs move in order to safe spot them, like with the snakes and stuff. And it's, yeah, no, it's cool. I think you got this. How long you think it'll take you? Just guessing for the chat. How long you think?
I think 40 attempts.
40? Okay.
I think I'm
on 3, 5.
I think I'm on
something like that.
6 right now. I think I'm on 6.
Okay. What's your wave PB?
48.
Ooh, not damn. Okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was sitting and thinking like 35, 38. That's actually pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in the hardest part right there. And then once you get that done, it's game over. Zuck itself's kind of weird because it's like, you know, you've done a bunch of perilous moons, but you know how you run behind that like orb in Eclipse Moon during the one special attack? Like it blocks for you from Eclipse Moon, the golden one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole shield thing's kind of like that. And it was a weird thing to mess with on Gridmaster. Even with 25% reflect, I died so many times, man. Like, it's crazy. No, that's cool though, dude. You got this. Well, Sardaco, dude, I really appreciate you talking to me today. This was very informative and very cool because I do enjoy your content, man. I guess to wrap up, like, what are your goals for the end of the year? What do you want to accomplish by the end of the year?
Oh, I got to get that Inferno Cape before the end of the year. That's the only goal I have for real. I want to get Inferno Cape within 6 months of playing the game. It's my biggest goal right now. I started playing on January 3rd, so I'm trying to get it before next year.
Man, getting that sub year would be insane. I'm on 20 without it, bro. So yeah, that would be very impressive.
Damn.
All right, man. I appreciate you, bro. Yep. You have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you again for your time, dude. And I'll be rooting for you.
All right. Appreciate that, Prideslayer. Have a good day.
You too, brother. Take it easy.
All right, boys. That was it. That was our interview with Prideslayer today. The man, the myth, the legend. He hit me up, said he had a podcast, and you never know, guys. That was awesome.